So we are taking a look at Bundle Dumper Florida Edition, and I am joined by Cheesepencil. Thank you so much for coming on the stream with me.
The pleasure is mine.
Okay, so I was just reading through the rules here, and so flapping increases your vertical and horizontal momentum. I asked if it was similar to the Mario swimming mechanics, and you said I'll figure it out once I sort of start messing around with the controls in the game. So we aim our delivery by holding down the cross button, which is X, on my North American keyboard here, and keep in mind that you can't flap or turn while aiming. Once you started aiming, you're committed. Release the cross button to drop the baby from your beak. If you hurl a baby and miss, you can get another one from the hot air balloon at the beginning of the level. Don't worry, you can't run out. That's not exactly what I'm worried about. Even if you don't miss on levels with multiple deliveries, you will have to go back to the hot air balloon to get more babies. Okay. So the timer starts when the first level loads and ends when you see your final time displayed on the You Win screen. Strategic deaths will get you back to the hot air balloon faster, but if you run out of lives, then continue all your deliveries and the current one will be reset. Timer is only precise to seconds. Barely had time for sound effects. 5 minutes and 31 seconds. Well, I don't think I'm going to be doing any better than that. Not while we're trying to do an interview at the same time.
The best I've seen a streamer do so far was 15 minutes.
Wow. Okay. Well, there's no guarantee that I'm actually going to be able to finish it at all, but...
I'm not worried about that.
Okay,
I'm just happy to be here.
All right, good. So hit detection is a little off. First time writing my own AABB collision detection. Okay, no problem. Aiming trajectory is largely accurate when you're moving to the right and off by 6 pixels when moving to the left. Ah, okay. Good to know. Well, I will try to keep that in mind, but... Alright, so I'll go ahead and get into the game, unless there's anything else you think I should be aware of?
Good luck, have fun.
Okay, alright. So,
I think it's better with a gamepad, but it's certainly not required.
Oh, you know what? I got one right here. So while I get that plugged in, sorry for bashing the mic there, can you tell me a little bit about your background in game development and your role on this project?
A friend of mine got into Unity in like 2010 or so, and I was doing corporate C# at the time, and they needed help, so I helped them build a level editor for their side scroller, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna make some games as a hobby. Mm-hmm. And then we did Ludum Dare together, and then I've mostly done Ludum Dare solo after that using TypeScript and Phaser, and then I got mad at Phaser like a year or two ago because they got deep into the crypto stuff, and then actually stopped jamming for a little bit, and then I got Pico in a bundle, mm-hmm. and it looked adorable, so I wanted to. And it's it's perfectly it's pretty much perfect for jam games since its constraints force you to keep your scope small, and I think that's the problem everybody has in the jams. So now I think I'm gonna stick with Pico 8. I was really happy with how this came out, and the response has generally been good. So yeah, and that's more or less game dev in a nutshell. I do corporate for a living, but this is jams are just great. Like you don't have to really care about all the things that you have to care about in corporate programming, and you can just make something fun, forget about it, and it doesn't have to keep you up at night, except for the weekend that you're building it.
Yeah. Oh boy, the deaths come hard and fast in this game.
yeah, that's why you get infinite continues.
Oh, I do appreciate that. Oh my god, and the guy shot me. So, why don't we talk a little bit about the where the idea or inspiration for this game came from?
My Ludum Dare strategy is to spend the first night just brainstorming. I don't usually code that much on the first night, so I'll just write down everything that comes into my head. I'll search for the definition of the theme on dictionary.com or something, and just try to find something inspiring, hopefully that has a small enough scope that I think I can get it done in 2 days. Because I only do compo. I love playing people's jam games, but I don't have the attention span, I guess, to spend a third day on it. Like a third day would. I don't know. By the middle of the second day, you know exactly what you're gonna do because you're out of time. And if I had a third day, I'd never get my game done. I got to sweat a little bit for it, but what ended up happening is I was trying to think of like the first couple things that popped into my head, like pizza, which is a very popular theme. Storks. I've seen a couple stork games, and I knew there'd be another handful of stork games. But I figured I could put my own twist on it by adopting something I'm also kind of invested in. I'm kind of invested in Florida since I live there. Figured we can put it all together into a package just the right size for Ludum Dare. And hopefully place in the humor category. It's really that's the game I'm playing is top 10 in humor category.
Oh, there is a full screen. I should have done that. Yeah, it's. I mean, you certainly are. Between the gators. I love that. By the way, the closer you get to the bottom of the screen, the more the gators like hone in on your position. Like they're always there, ready to get you.
I was trying to set up the levels in such a way that you would you'd be able to experience every possible way to die. So I knew that people would try to fly at the top of the screen just to avoid everything. So if you stay up there too long, the sun turns you into ashes. I knew that if they were allowed to, just rub their bellies on the floor all the way to the end, that they would. So I want to make sure you get punished for that. Really, I want to punish the player, but I wanted them to enjoy it enough to keep hitting continue until they get to the other side, until they get to the end.
Whoa. Oh, I see. I was like, oh yeah, so I guess I just never got that close to the top of the screen, but there's the sun frying me to ash there for everyone who is curious. I appreciate at least that the babies don't get hit by bullets in midair.
I didn't put the bullet guys until the last half of the second day, and I knew that I was not going to be able to balance them if I did make the babies and bullets collide. So it's a decision I had to make. Like, I don't think anyone would finish the game if the bullets could take out babies. And,
I mean, that's also just for the best.
Right. There's enough ways to lose your baby already.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh, you made it to the last level, by the way. This is like incredible timing.
Oh, this drone pattern is crazy. The fact that they go off the top of the screen and then reappear at the bottom of the screen. Oh my god.
Got it. You got it. Nice.
Oh no. Okay, intentional death, speedrun tactics. So what was the actual development process like for the game?
I wanted to be able to generate the levels quickly, so I basically set it up so that each level would be a minimum of 3 screen widths, and one of those screen widths would be the balloon, one of them would be just sort of an empty area to make it challenging to get back to the balloon, and the remaining screens in the level would be, places where you'd have to drop off the babies. So the goals are generated, like each level has a random seed and a length, and I just gave them a seed so that the goals would be randomly placed, and if I didn't like the placement, I'd give it another seed, and now they all have static seeds, and then the little basically I spent almost all of my time on the mechanics and very little time on building the levels, so I wanted to be able to basically just choose X and Y coordinates for most of the bad guys and give them a little range to move in, or a pattern that wow, Wow, well played. Excellent time, by the way. No streamers gotten sub 10 yet.
That never happens. Like,
Nailed it, man. GG.
like I said, I rarely finish games on when I'm doing the interview streams, let alone like score well in them at all.
You killed it. Well played.
Well, thank you. Sorry, I completely interrupted the derailed your point there.
No, I mean, in any event, I spent hardly any time on level design. I
Mhm.
just, it's simple enough to, feed, feed the time into a sign function, and then have the drone spin around and move around in cool ways that looks like it took more effort than it actually did, and the little shooter guys, they move within a minimum X range and a
Mhm.
maximum X range, and they follow the bird. And if you are on camera, give or take 30 pixels with a bad guy, they'll be able to see you and shoot you. And they try to lead you a little bit, but um, there's not that much to it, honestly. The gators are always off screen,
Mhm.
unless you get close to the bottom of the screen. The closer you get, I draw the gators a little bit closer to you on the x-axis, and if
Yeah.
you if you if you all meet, hit detection kicks in, and that's the end of your baby or your bird if you're too close.
Yeah. Wow. So when the way that Pico 8 is actually storing the data for the levels, is it just a seed and then it uses that to like unpack the level data, or is it do
Uh,
you,
to
yeah.
elaborate a little bit on how the randomness works, the randomness generates the foliage
Mm.
and the goal positions, and that's largely it. Like, it's going to put goal positions after the second two screen lengths, um, inside of the next couple chunks of screen length, so that no two goals are in the same screen. And that's the random placement. The drones, the enemies, they're, well, gators notwithstanding, because the gators are
Right.
always there. They're basically character position based.
Yeah.
But everything else, I just gave them coordinates in the case of drones, and a function for them to follow, a function of time that
Hmm.
gets put through a sign function, and then the little shooter guys, they have their own. They just they can move back and forth inside a minimum and maximum X, and I,
Right.
I
Yeah.
just give them a minimum and maximum X whenever a new level is. Uh, the randomness is largely just so that the foliage at the bottom of the screen is the same every time, and the house position is the same every time. But I
Hmm.
didn't want to have to, you know, uh, I'm not using Pico 8's built-in level editor for this, because I wanted to. I actually didn't. I was expecting that I was going to need the memory that Pico 8 uses for the level editor for sprites. But as it turned out, I used hardly any sprites. I thought it'd be more sprite heavy in the end. I just ran out of time.
I thought I'd do better on a second playthrough, but that is so far not been the case. Um, yeah, I think the like internal workings for Pico 8 is like quite fascinating. Although um, I
Wow.
can't imagine working within those kind of constraints. Oh, there it goes. Um, I Most of the time, if I'm jamming, I use GameMaker or well, just GameMaker for jams, and then during the day, I'm developing professionally with Unity. So having like the ability to manually place stuff in a level editor is not something I can imagine doing without. It's just kind of the way I'm used to working. But
Oh yeah, I mean, that's what a Pico's feature. It's got it has a level editor, but it shares the level editor's tile placement with the sprite memory.
mm,
So you can go half and half, or I think you can go a quarter and three quarters one way or the other, or all of one or the other. Um, so like you do have that option. It's just definitely not as robust as Unity.
sorry, I guess that's what I meant. Is just like having to make those kind of trade offs is like a little more than I'd necessarily want to. Like the constraints on that are slightly more than I'd be willing to work with for something that is just meant to be like a casual game jam experience for me. Because I'm a little bit more into the design side of things than I am into the development side of things, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe if GameMaker, like, not only am I using GameMaker, I'm using GameMaker version 1.4, not the new one. So, or Studio, GameMaker Studio version 1.4. So if that ever just like completely bites the dust on me, then maybe I'll give Pico 8 a try, or maybe Godot. But Unity just seems like too cumbersome to do for the purpose of a game jam.
I suppose. I like the way you can just like throw a couple capsules together and you know, make something that looks decent in a couple hours with Unity, but I need a few constraints to get something done in 48 hours, because I'm gonna do combo exclusively. If I don't know, if you give me a whole lot of options, I'm gonna get paralyzed. I'm not gonna be able to get my game done. If you know, if you get like 2 megabytes of RAM and 128 pixels by 128 pixel, I wouldn't normally be an advocate of Pico 8 until, you know, I spent 48 hours fighting with it for a weekend and found myself falling in love.
Nice. Well, I think and did you like first try it in the context of a game jam, or?
Yeah, well, yeah. This is it. This is the first game jam I tried Pico 8 with it, and it's my first Pico 8 game.
No, sorry, you did say that right at the beginning. I keep mistiming. Losing a lot of babies here on this one. On like the same batch of quad rotors. Okay, this time I learn. Nope. Nope.
Wait for it. You got it.
You're on a bit of a delay, so not going so well. So that being said, do you have any plans for this game going forward?
No. When I do jams, it's one and done. I basically forget about it until the next time I sit down on Itch and see what game jams are coming up. If there's something interesting coming up, I'll do it. If there's not, I'll find something else to do with my weekend. Mm-hmm. Like if by some miracle I built something in a weekend, there was clear that there was a demand in an audience for it, I'd certainly consider it. I've got some friends I can go to really put some juice on an idea, but nah, I've got a day job. This is just for fun.
I get you. I have no idea how I cleared this level seemingly without too much difficulty the first time, because like these drone patterns are so tough. Like there isn't much of a gap there, and you really have to lead the. Oh nope, not like that.
You might be well, if you drop them while the drones are over it, it's kind of counterintuitive. Like if you do it now, I'm like, well, nope, I say now, but I'm seeing it on a multi-second delay. Like if they're fully covered by drones, then you're probably safe to let go, because they'll be gone by the time the baby arrives.
Okay, well that was interesting the way that worked out. You'll see it in a second. No bullets.
I tried to be forgiving in a few ways. Others not so much.
No, I can definitely see that. Well.
You do not have to force yourself through this on my account.
I'm not even. I'm just like. This is just a matter of like having something on in the background while we are continuing our conversation. So I already got the good score. I'm not going to do that well again. I'm resigned to that.
GG.
So, if anybody has any questions from chat, I think now would be the time to post them. But otherwise, do you have any other projects you want to draw people's attention to, or any social media channels you'd like to plug?
Donate to the Humane Society.
That's that's a solid request. Yeah, that's I super appreciate that. Most people have like something that they want to do, like a personal social media channel they want to plug. But yeah, it's not like I'm. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
I
I
only
think
crawl
it's
out of the woodwork like once or twice a year for Ludum Dare. That's what you see is what you're getting from me for the most
cool.
part.
All right. Well, I think we've addressed all the questions I had. So, in
Thank you
terms of
so
like,
much.
in terms of actual like feedback on the game itself, I mean, I think that is there anything in particular that you're like looking for feedback on?
You know what? Like, if you gave me feedback, I can promise you it would never ever get implemented because in 2 weeks when scoring's over, I'm not gonna think about this game again.
Yeah. But that being said, I mean, in terms of like for the sake of future projects, I mean, okay, see, how did I just make those both of those no problem this time? That must have been the luck that I had the first time I played this level.
That's some swag right there.
Um,
I mean, I like to think about the juice that could have been in there
mhm.
if I had if I had just a little bit more time. I would have loved to make the background more dynamic or the drone's patterns more obvious or you know I just there's only so much time
Mhm.
and like the you have to pick and choose the details that you include so carefully. Um, I mean, what do you think could have been improved? Uh,
I think that
I'll
the
take any feedback, honestly.
sure.
There's no particular point that I think is because this game has a lot of needs in a bunch of different places, I think.
Yeah, I guess the one thing that stuck out to me actually was one of the things you already mentioned about like having a little bit of decoration in the background, like the having some clouds especially would help track your position. Like the
Oh
detail along the
yeah.
ground helps with that. But a lot of the time your eyes are not like focused that low, like you're sort of keeping your eyes up on the player character.
Yep.
So just having the clouds helps a little bit with keeping track of essentially like how fast you're going, right? Because it's a like
Mhm.
visual cue.
Wow, that was close.
It was, and then I've definitely gotten lucky on the hit detection a few times, but I'm down to my last stork here, so it's
I,
anyone's
I
guess.
wish I had I wish I had more time to fine tune the hit detection too. Like there are some times when the where drone death just feels cheap, and I hate that I couldn't get there before the end, but like every time it's down to the wire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess. Oops. It's always especially brutal when your stork gets blended in midair and then the baby gets eaten by the crocodiles on the ground,
Gotta do it. Gotta get
or you get
that.
shot and then
Gotta
the.
get that humor win.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's or you get shot and then you get then the baby gets eaten by the crocodiles every time. Oh man. Um, I'm trying
Thank
to
you so
think of
much
like
for playing. It's
yeah,
it's, it's really rad. It's really rad to see someone like kick ass on it on the first try too.
that was definitely beginner's luck because I've definitely not done as well on subsequent attempts. But yeah, I guess it's one of those things where it's hard to say like what else. Like I have preferences as far. Oh, you know what? One small thing that would be nice is resetting the number of lives when you start a new level, because sometimes it's just kind of like a wash. If you start a level with less than the maximum number of lives, you practically like just want to kill yourself immediately to get back up to full. So just sort of treating every level as a like blank slate and another opportunity to like have your maximum number of lives when you're going into the challenge for the first time. That might be a nice touch.
Yeah. I love that idea. I made a deliberate decision not to, because I was hoping that, um, when I went in, I knew I also wanted to time it, because I knew it was going to be short enough to do in like 5 to 10 minutes, and hopefully each level is about a minute long. And I wanted speedrunners, those poor souls, I wanted them to have an incentive not to die, since a continue, should add. A continue should punish you,
Right.
and so that you'll want to avoid that if at all possible. But for it was also the first time I kind of made a jam game with the thought that someone might speedrun it. Because I saw it a few times in I forget which one. I think it was 40. I saw a couple streamers were really excited about doing a small game as fast as they could, and I knew that they had a really fun time with the games that they did that with, and I was trying to maybe cater a little bit to that audience.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm beyond even thinking about it in terms of streamers. I think it's just a good idea whenever you make a game that a time limit kind of makes any amount of sense, because often time limits feel like a less arbitrary measure than score. Like sometimes it just, I don't want to think about the number of points I'm getting, because you can get into weird ways of like gaming the score and like finding easy ways to get tons of points and so on and so on. But just having a good old, like, it took me this long to beat the game, and maybe you still found a way to cheese it and like beat the game in like some faster way. But yeah, I've definitely like included timers on my games for when it felt like it made sense.
Sure thing.
So,
And that's good feedback, and I appreciate it.
all right. Well, in that case, I think that's about everything that I had to say. And just definitely, unfortunately, we didn't get any other questions coming in from chat. But yeah, thank you so much for hopping on the call. And yeah, it's definitely fun. Like a good silly game. Like the fact that you gave me lives and continues is nice and generous. Like I really do appreciate that, because I can see the whole thing, and although like going for the best possible time might be kind of tricky, it's certainly not, it doesn't feel like overly punishing. Like no single level is too long, doesn't overstay its welcome. So yeah, I think it's a nice, short and sweet experience all around.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. This is a great format, by the way.
Thank you.
Too much fun. Too much fun. Thanks a ton.
All right. Well, anytime you participate in Ludum Dare in the future, you'd be more than welcome to come back on, and I'd love to try it out and have another conversation.
Can't wait.
All right. Well, bye for now then. Have a good day.